Hey there, Julia here. Today we're talking about a new ink journal. The biggest surprise and joy of my 2024 journal and planner lineup was this ink journal. It does look a little different than you're probably used to seeing. I usually have this in a little green cover, but since it's the end of the year, I've pulled this out of its cover and have used the cover for another journal. So she's a little naked right now, but this is the journal that you've been seeing throughout the year in currently ink videos and color favorite videos. And she's been with us on quite a journey this year, almost full, just a few pages left. So for 2025, I definitely wanted something larger, since I pretty much complained in every currently inked video about running out of space and just wanting something a little larger for this ink journal. I had no idea how much I would love keeping this ink journal, and so for 2025 I am using this. Let's talk about the outside cover first, and then we will work our way inside, and I'll show you how I have it set up for the new year. So this cover is the Aura Estelle Airy A5 Perfect Fit. I did get this at a little bit of a discount because it was during their Oops sale where they sell imperfect items. I don't even know what's imperfect about this. It looks fine and functions fine for me, so I mean, yay. But this is the whiskey color. If you're curious, I'll try to link as many things as I can in the description. So here we have this snap closure. I have this little Club Pen Snob pen on here, and I got this from the Paper Craft Pantry whenever they were doing their little pen club subscription thing. I don't think they're doing that anymore, but I did get this pen during that subscription, and I thought it was perfect for the purpose here. We have an outside pocket, and in there I just have one of these large blotter papers from Esterbrook. There's nothing happening in the back here. But when you open it up, you get 2 pen loops right off the bat, and I really love that. So in here, I have my Sailor Hokoro dip pen, and I think this will just be great to have if I want to quickly test out in like ink colors. And then I just have a gel pen in here because I don't know why. I just do. Sometimes I just need to label things and I want it to be a neutral black, and yeah, I just have that there. So we open it up here, and this is what I have going on so far. Let's start on this side and we'll work our way over to the actual journal. So over here you can see we have lots of pockets. I don't have anything in this larger pocket back here yet. I have a smaller Regalia paper pad up here just for some scratch notes, testing, that type of thing. In the pocket here, I have a smaller piece of blotter paper. I thought this would be good for putting under my palm if my hands are especially oily or something. I have a few swatch cards in here. Thought that would be helpful and fun for when I'm making spreads. I still have this sticker from Annabelle, who's a just beautiful goldsmith and nib grinder. And she gave me this in person in the Netherlands a couple of years ago at this point now, and I just don't want to stick it down anywhere. It's such a pretty pen. It's a illustration of one of her pens, and I just like to carry it around with me throughout different pen and ink journals. How about that? And then I have just this little pin here for decoration, this little paper clip from Birmingham Pen Company. Okay, let's talk about the ink journal. For once, I'm matching brands here. This is the Aura Estelle and the Annie Plans A5, the 365 journal, and I thought this was perfect for all the information and planning that I want to keep in this ink journal. So we open it up here, and I've already decorated this first intro page, just like a cover page, with a stamp, Julia's pen and ink journal, use some washi, and I think this is just really pretty, sets the mood. And we have this intro page. Like last year, or this year rather, I plan on sticking in notes, sticking in stickers, and just happy mail things in these intro pages. So this will probably be filled with stuff. Same story here, because I don't think I need yearly overviews through 2028. Flipping to the first spread, this in a typical planner would be a future log. And so this is still sort of a future log, but only in regards to pen and ink things. So I've added in these mini calendar stickers. I have these in my Etsy shop, but in these areas for every month, I want to plug in pen shows, which I've already started putting in some pen shows. Whether I'm going or not, I probably will highlight the ones that I am going to, but I also want to write in any sales, any releases, any hobby related dates and news. You can see like September, Sailor always does their Don't Miss the Boat sale. And so I'm doing this to just get an overview of the events and happenings within the hobby. Also with these sales, marking, Black Friday sales, Fountain Pen Day sales, that type of thing, I can hopefully plan better my purchases. If I'm looking at a Sailor and it's June, I'm sure I can wait till September to see if it's going to be included in their Don't Miss the Boat sale and get a little bit more of a discount there, or just, be a little bit more mindful about when things are purchased, when things are happening. We're just going for a nice yearly overview timeline of the hobby. Flipping over, I've set up this tracker page to mark pen purchases for the year and any pens that I sell. And these little trackers are just cute. They're very low effort. If I buy a pen or sell a pen, I'll just color in this box or most likely just dot it so I can just get a quick little fun visual of pens in and out. And then down below, I just have some yearly stats, just writing in beginning of the year, end of the year, and a net of how many pens are in my collection, ink bottles, ink samples, and custom ink mixes. And then on this side, down at the bottom, I have a section to note any pens that are gifted for review or from family and friends, and then any pens or inks that I've traded. I don't think ink swaps will count here because I would need more space, so maybe just pens. Flipping over, this is sort of the introduction to the rest of the ink journal, and I want to work on this now actually. This is a space for pen and ink goals and intentions that I'm setting for 2025. Also a little wish list here just to keep in mind, and anything that I love, any new releases that I feel really attached to that I maybe don't buy right off the bat, I kind of want to keep track of those here. Again, hoping that it curbs some impulse buying. So let's talk about these 2025 pen and ink goals and intentions. I'm going to be writing with the Kaweco Sport or Kaweco Art Sport in the Terrazzo colorway, and this is inked with Ferris Wheel Press Age of Aurum. Okay, since this is a super new notebook, it's a little harder to write on this side, so I'm going to slip this under here for now. I'm not going to do this in any super organized fashion. I'm just going to dump what I think here. So I know for sure that I do not want to make any ink purchases until we go to Japan. The plan is to go to Japan late October through mid-November. I will be catching the Tokyo Pen Show. As I think we all know, Japan is like Disneyland for stationery and pens and inks. Plus, I just have a ton of ink right now and I just don't need anything right now. And when it comes to pens, I think I want to be very limited and just very selective with what I purchase when it comes to pens, because I'm going to Japan and that's where I want to spend my money next year. I do keep a stationery wallet, a digital Excel-ish document that tracks the pens that I'm buying versus the affiliate credit that I have versus Etsy income, that type of thing. And so I started that last year, or this year, 2024, while trying to do a low buy the first half of the year, and I just kept it going. And so I try to keep my purchases within that stationery wallet. And I feel like that's been helpful in keeping acquisitions under control for the most part. So I want to continue doing this. And then I talked about this a little bit earlier, but writing down the pens and inks and or making spreads for them, the ones that I love, I feel like may curve the need to own or purchase the pen or ink. So I just want to write that down here as an intention. The next thing I want to do in 2025 is check myself with impulse and exclusivity. Do I really love this pen? Why do I love it? Why is it special? Am I just interested because it's exclusive? I just want to write that down to remind myself. The next one is sort of a goal, fits in that category a little more, and I would love to do a 30 inks, 30 days in 2025. I love watching them. I know quite a few people in the community do them, and as I said, I have a lot of inks. There's a lot of pens to explore. I want to explore those pairings. I don't know exactly what I would do for the 30 inks, 30 days, but I want to figure it out and I want to do it. It just looks like so much fun. The next one is sort of in that vein of a goal as well. Nothing really specific. I'm not being too specific, like life goals or anything. I feel like with life goals, you have to make like these measurable, more definite statements, but this is a hobby. This is fun. So I don't want to put that same sort of pressure on anything. So with this one, I would love to do like a more fountain pen ink art and doodles, and I want to see if I can make this a habit. I have been painting a lot with fountain pen ink and doodling in my planner the last few months of 2024, and it's been really fun, and so I want to see if I can expand that a little more. And I think the last one for this page, at least for now, is I want to spend more time grinding and tuning nibs. I want to do more pen nib exploration and educate myself a little bit more on just the basics. If you don't know, I have done a little bit of nib grinding this year and trying to figure that out. It's been really fun, but it's been very like on and off because busy year, crazy year. So I just want to see if I can focus in a little bit more on that as well. Okay, let's move over to the wish list. So this wish list is kind of a short list. I try not to add too many things to my wish list just because I know myself and I might become like hyper fixated on finding it, and that can lead to an impulse buy. So I like to keep this loosey goosey. So this first one has been on my wish list for a while, but I'm just like waiting on the perfect condition, price, source, etc. This is the Pilot MYU. Love this. I'll maybe pop a picture on the screen, but I just love that it's like all silver. The pen leads into the nib. Love a crazy nib situation. And it's a Pilot, so you know it's going to be good. So I have that on my wish list. I also have the Pilot Vanishing Point / Capless in the silver stripes. This one isn't necessarily hard to find. I just think that it's super expensive for what it is. I have the gold stripes. I really love it. And so I just want the silver stripes as well. And I'll probably be looking for this in Japan in hopes that it's a little bit cheaper. And then the last one on here is going to be a Scribo Feel in the, I don't know how to say this, Spiaggia Rosa? I feel like that is not correct. This one's just hard to find. Scribo's resins, I don't know why. I do know why. I am very picky with them because the pen is so expensive. Like, I feel like I just have to love it on a different level. And of all the ones that they offer, I did recently get the Saragossa one, which I thought was gorgeous. It reminded me of Earth. But also this Spiaggia Rosa is just like the quartz look is just it. But hard to find, rarely see it on the secondhand market. So in this wish list it goes. And then I'm just going to leave Loves blank. This is to be determined by what is released in 2025. It doesn't really even have to be released in 2025. It could just be things that I discover or come across in 2025. Okay, and then you can see that I have some tabs up here and they're just concentrated to the top of the journal. These are going to be the monthly calendars. So what am I using these for? So I am going to be pulling from our future log some of the events and releases and pen shows and things like that. I will be pulling those up here. But I also want to mark when I purchase things, when I ink pens, when I clean them, if I unink something that I don't love. I just want to keep track of what I'm doing here. Again, with all of this, I don't want to be like super strict and regimented with it because it's supposed to be fun. So this should be a fun look, like a monthly view of what I did with pens and inks and what other people are doing with pens and inks. So this obviously goes through December. And then we get into the blank pages here. These are numbered, which I love. The grid spacing is 5 millimeters, so they're nice and juicy. So on these blank pages, we'll have currently inked. We'll also have some ink swap pages like this. When I get new inks, new ink days will be in here along with just maybe some fun swatches. Pen and ink pairing ratings and monthly favorites will be in here. And then I hope to do more writing samples. I didn't really do, like this has a nice bit of writing, but I didn't really do a lot of writing samples in my 2024 ink journal. So I definitely want to do more of that in here. There's definitely pages to do so. I think there's 365 pages here. But I also want to do maybe some journal spreads about pens that I love, whether I own them or not, and just hobby related musings. Maybe if there's some hobby drama or something, I can write about that in here as well. And then much like the tabs here that make this more chronological, I do want to do that with the tabs that I have in the back here to just make all of the musings, all of the ink days, all of the swaps, all the currently inked, all of that more chronological and easier to find. But yeah, this I am probably the most excited about the ink journal for 2025. I'm excited to introduce you to the new ink journal. Let me know what you think. And if you keep up with this type of thing, like hobby stuff, where do you keep it? What do you keep? in your ink journal? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you're like, what about your ink collection? Where are the swatches? I did that in my 2024 ink journal. I had swatches for everything in here, but I've moved them into a brand new and super flexible pen and ink directory. I'll leave that for you to watch next. Throw the video a like if you've enjoyed. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you all in the next one.